Okay.
Hi, my name is Wonkyung and I'm gonna present Lee. He's a Korean artist. The reason I chose him was recently we had Lee's exhibition in Guggenheim. And then my question was, because I never heard about Lee before this, so who is Lee? And then my second interest was how he could have exhibition over there, because it's not easy to use entire space of Guggenheim and then show his artwork as a Korean. Also, third reason, like my favorite artist is Sol Lewitt. I like the art which is like really minimalism or really simple. And for me, Lee is the other like Sol Lewitt in Korean. Lee, he was born in Haman-gun in Gyeongsang-namdo in 1936, and he studied painting in Seoul National University. That's the best school in Korea. Also, the city he was born in is really, really small city. Like they have really small population, and that's really, really small city. But interestingly, after 2 months later, in his college, he moved to Japan. And then from there, like let's say he was 20 years old, and then he started all entire career in Japan and worldwide. So he studied only 2 months in Korea college, and then I was thinking why it happened. In the history in 1950s in Korea, okay, he was born in 1930s. And in that time, we were under the Japan. And then when he became 20 years old, which is like 1950s, North Korea invaded South Korea. So during the time, like South Korea has a really tough issue, and it was not easy to live over there. And then if you're wealthy and if you have a good education, it was really common to go to Japan to study, or like America. And when he went to Japan, he started to study philosophy. But at the same time, he also painted traditional Japanese style. And later on, he pursued his career as a critic, philosopher, and artist. And he's one of the founders of Monoha, and I will explain Monoha later. And then he also played a key role in the formation of modern art movement in Japan. And Monoha is, in Western art, they try to illustrate or represent some images. But in like Asian art and in Monoha, they try to think the relationship between the subject. So let's say he put some rock on the table, then he tried to find the meaning, what he tried to deliver through the stone, and then what is the relationship between this table and the object. So that's Monoha. Also, we're gonna see his artwork. He only used 1, 2, 3 colors. That means 단색화. 단색화 means like monochrome painting. Also in 1970s in Korea, many artists they use like 1, 2, 3 colors, and then like Picasso did, many of famous artists they choose blue color. They found blue color is really strong, and then it is really common in worldwide of using blue color. All things in the universe start from the point and return to the point. One point calls up a new point and extend into a line. Everything in a scene of gathering and dispersal of points and lines. This sentence maybe it will be very common in Asia country. When we begin to study how to write, like it's really Asian concept. Like as a Korean alphabet, like that means it's really common. They teach like, oh, these lines start from the point, and then the point become a line, and then the other point of line with the other point of line, it has a meaning. So every word, everything has a start from the point. Even the desk, before it became a like certain object, it had a starting point. So he was influenced by like this Asian like philosophy. So as we see, in 1970s, the name is from point. He started to just drop or like just paint a little point, but he never draw more than 3 times in a one spot. So he had a little concept of point, and then he used blue color a lot. And later he found out that, okay, we start from the point, but when we connect the point together, it became a line. Also, every like thing in universe starts from the start, and then it fade away, and then it disappeared at the end. So he drew a line with paint, and then he drew till end, and then later it disappeared. So at the beginning, he had a concept of point, and he developed to the line. And then he tried to think about the space. Okay, so there are many things, but everything is like we fit each other. I mean, so he tried to really express the emptiness or the space. So he drew some like dot, point, and line. Also, he tried to express the thing he drew, and the space he didn't draw anything. And here he tried to express more about space, but and his like final work in 1990s, we can really see everything like 단색화, which used only one color, which is blue, and then he point. He drew the line, and he showed the space, meaning of space. So these are like final of his work. So that's how he drew his work. I will show you the movie clip of this drawing.
Painting.
Painting. He's drawing with a big brush, but it doesn't finish with only one touch. It looks like he just drew one time, he painted one time, but we will see that he like fixed with little brush, and actually it takes almost like 1 month to finish. This film was taken in France. He's working in like worldwide, include Europe. And he said that's it. So that's the way he does his work. And then, as I said earlier, the emptiness and the space between what he paint, what he present, and what is left. So as we see in Asian art, this porcelain, you can see that lot of space. The artist drew only one line over here, and everything is just empty. And then the other, like modern art, that's like actually choreography, and then they focus on one certain thing, and then everything is space. But you can really think more. What does he try to explain, and what do we have behind this like certain object? So, and he also did sculpture. It calls like the point of this work. The work is to bring together nature and industrial society. The viewer is to experience the tension between the rock and the steel plate. So for him, this is the natural thing, and this is the one which is like industrial or which is not natural. So when you see this crack, it means that the tension between nature and which is not nature. Also, we can think that the nature is me, like I, and then these are like could be you, and then there's some tension between us. Also, the rock is what I believe, and then the steel plate is what you believe. So we have always tension each other. This is the way how he chose the rock. Let's say he has an exhibition in Paris, then he doesn't bring his stone from Japan. He go to some place in Paris and he select the stone. Also, when he, like same as when he did exhibition in here, he actually went to mountain in America. He chose the rock because he believed that rock and nature is like similar as their people. So this rock compared with this, the shape is different. He chose this rock from Japan, and then he said Japanese rock has more like tension, more like strong. Density is really high, and this is like Korean stone rock. Our rock is more soft, so they say it represents the personality of their culture or people. That's the way he makes this sculpture work. He stood up on the glass plate and he placed the rock, and he intentionally break it. He tried to express the tension between rock and glass plate. I think that's a pretty simple idea, but it's not easy to deliver with certain objects. So I made this picture. I tried to say, as Lee always said that his work are not things in the space, but things that activate space. He said, let's say if we put his artwork in the classroom, and let's say if we display his artwork in the museum or in the outside, people receive it differently. And then because he never framed his work, because he wanna really observe in the environment, and he wanna be involved in the gallery space or gallery space. So what he tried to, the reason he didn't frame his work is he tried to deliver that his work is not just an artwork, and this artwork could change its meaning wherever it is displayed. And this artwork, actually, it was sold at Sotheby's auction by 1.9 million. As a Korean, again, it's not easy to present our artwork in the Sotheby's auction. And then in that certain day, the bidding rate was second highest in the auction. So it was quite issue in Korea. Ufan Lee's exhibition finished last week Thursday, and it was really big issue in Korea because as an Asian, he's the third person who could exhibit his work in here, and as a Korean, he was the second person who exhibited his work after Namjoon Paik. So I was really curious because my major is management. So how he could make it? Is there any connection, or is he really good enough to exhibit his work? And then the curator, her title was really interesting for me. Her title in Guggenheim is Samsung Senior Curator Asian Art. And then I read press release of this exhibition, and then Samsung was really actually a big working as a big funder. They donate a lot of money, so we can really do this exhibition. And then I will show you the exhibition ad.
Stand still a moment and enter the world of internationally acclaimed artist Lee Ufan. Experience the artist's first U.S. retrospective at the Frank Lloyd Wright-designed Guggenheim Museum in New York. Encounter sculptures made by chance, revealing material, opening space, inviting action. Lose yourself in paintings that capture infinity. Rediscover the world around you.
And this exhibition, actually at the beginning he tried to use only 4th floor, but the main curator in this museum, they decided to use entire building. So it was not easy for him. He said he always, the exhibition is closed area. Also the shape is rectangle, because our room is rectangle. But this time, the space was open and it was a circle shape. So for him, it was not easy to make concept of his exhibition. And then during the exhibition, they actually loaned his artwork from all of the Europe, Korea, and Japan. And because since he does a lot of work in Japan, Japanese society help us a lot. And then Korea Foundation pay a lot of fund. Also, we can see almost entire his earlier work from earlier work to his recent work. This is the other example of his artwork. The reason it could be many reasons how he could make it in Guggenheim, but curator said that this day in America they try to look back the history of modernism, and then rather than having exhibition about European artists, it is kind of trend to focus on Asian artists. That's why they could have this exhibition in Guggenheim. As a Korean, also as a curator, it's really hard to exhibit our Korean artists in America. And Guggenheim, because Upan Lee's Guggenheim exhibition gave a lot of like hope to young emerging Korean artists. So it was really important moment for Korean artists and Korean curators and everyone together.